this is probably the most important thing to understand about business, is that a successful entrepreneur is really, the primary things are a combination of work ethic and high pain tolerance over time. Because if it was easy, everybody would leave their job and do a business. So you're at a job and you're trying to get to the next level, you're going from entrepreneur to entrepreneur. There's a lot of pain to get to that next level. Okay, and that's what keeps most people out of doing a business. They start to get a taste for that pain, they tap out, and they stop going. I've seen this with young guys that I met when I was living in Chiang Mai. I've seen this with clients. I've seen this with friends. They're not willing to do 100 cold calls a day, and they don't have money to pay $5,000, $10,000 a month for the marketing. And they tap out because the pain's too much. And this is why most businesses fail. And the businesses that actually succeed, like 90% of them make less than 6 figures. So the guy might have enough energy to get the business going, but he doesn't have enough to get above 6 figures. And he's basically created a job for himself, which is what a lot of small businesses are. And in some cases, the person ends up working more hours, and there's more stress. Okay, the first couple of years of entrepreneurship are usually terrible because you're dumb, you don't know what you're doing, you're making all kinds of mistakes, and a lot of the time you're trying to do that on the side while you have a job to pay the bills. Again, this is where people tap out because they're not willing to suffer for it, and the reality is, like, most people who commit to entrepreneurship hate their job. If you're like me, you hated every job you had. You hated school. You hated being told what to do. You hated having a boss. You hated the teachers telling you what to do, and so on and so forth. But the reality is, when you're going from the job to a business, you're suffering like 2 to 3x the amount than you were suffering at the job, often on top of working a job. Okay, this is why most people tap out. But here's the reality. You have to be willing to do that if you want to get free, if you want to be able to buy your freedom. And I mean that literally. When you have money, you have freedom. When you have money, you don't have to work a job. Okay, that is a luxury. It's a huge luxury. It's, in terms of happiness, consistent daily happiness, being able to have that's one of the most important things that you could achieve in this world. You don't have to like how the world is structured, but the reality is you have to buy your freedom. Okay, and you have to go through a lot of pain to keep leveling up. All right, there's pain between every level. There's a lot of pain, and that's what stops people from leveling. It's like a video game. To get to the next level, there's a lot of pain involved in that. And that's what stops people. And that's why people aren't successful. Because if it was easy, everybody would be successful, right? That's really what it is. It's work ethic, and it's pain tolerance, and it's the right information. I try and give you guys the right information. I like high ticket service businesses, but I can't give you work ethic, and I can't give you pain tolerance. That has to be on you. Okay, and here's the reality about suffering and sacrifice. This is really important. Okay, you have to sacrifice for your business. Okay, if you don't sacrifice for your dream and your business, it's your business that's going to be sacrificed. Let me say that again. You have to sacrifice a lot to build a business. If you don't sacrifice for that business, your business will be the thing that gets sacrificed. Friends, family, seeing girls, doing a lot of stuff that you want to do has to be sacrificed, at least in the first couple of years. Okay, a lot of people talk about work-life balance and wanting to be able to have that. You can't have that in the first couple of years. Otherwise, you're slacking on your business, and that business is going to get sacrificed because you need a lot of momentum to get going on that thing, to get over the inertia, to get the boulder up the hill, to get the money coming in, to keep new clients coming in, because you're going to lose a lot of clients, right? you need to press really hard for the first couple of years to generate that momentum, to get that snowball built and rolling. And that means you're not going to have a life for the first couple of years. Okay? A life is a luxury in business, all right? That it has to be earned. You have to be able to, first of all, just getting to, six-figure income in a business is tough, but that in itself is a luxury in the sense that you don't have to work a job. The next level of luxury is being able to have the money to delegate what you hate to other people. Okay? But you've got to be doing six figures to be able to do that usually. And I mean take home six figures. If you're making a 5-figure income, you can try delegating to a VA in a third world country or something, but I wouldn't suggest it. I really wouldn't. I haven't seen one example of that working out. You want to be able to delegate to someone that you can pay well. At least $1,000. And that I'm not saying as an employee, I'm saying is, you're a client of them. At least $1,000 a month. Okay. So being able to delegate what you hate is a big luxury. It's something that I'd pay a lot for, and I'm paying for now, and just makes things so much easier. It's well worth the investment, but again, you have to be able to earn that. You have to be able to buy the delegation of what you hate. You can also be able to buy the marketing so that you don't have to rely on outbound, so that you don't have to make 100 cold calls a day, so you don't have to be on the phone all the time. Right? You invest in your business system, your business processes, and then you can actually start to scale and reduce your time because you have people working for you. And before, it was only you working 70 hours a week. Now you have 3 or 4 people, 300 hours a week or whatever it is, or 200 hours a week, and you can reduce your work hours and still be getting triple the amount of time gone towards your business. Okay. And you can start figuring out, like, how can I scale this thing and reduce my time? Can I charge more? Can I charge more for less hours? Investing in inbound and all that stuff. Like right now I have an inbound machine. I don't have to be on the phone at all. I spent a decade in corporate sales being on the phone. In my other business, the RLD marketing and sales business, we're doing sales training or sales closing and marketing for clients. And I've hopped on the phone a few times, but it's inbound. It's high ticket inbound. To me, that's still a dream in comparison to the outbound that I used to do. Right. So that's another luxury, is being able to build an inbound machine where people come to you and where you can turn away clients. Okay. But at the start of the business, it's like any client, no matter how poor and demanding, you have to take. So just keep this in mind, and it doesn't matter if you're going to 7 or 8 figures or whatever. It's sacrifice and suffering, but to get things going. But in my opinion, you can lessen that sacrifice and suffering over time. Okay. So I don't think it has to be linear. It can be linear in the sense that, like, each level can be as painful as the last one. If you're going for an 8-figure business or $100 million a year business, okay? If you're Grant Cardone and you're 61 and you're still stretching every day and you're still getting on the phone and you're still doing, crazy real estate deals with $100 million deals, right? And you're an animal, okay? You're still going to be a lot of pain. But you can also set smaller targets than that. Okay, now it's true, that I say if your business isn't growing, it's dying, but you can accept smaller growth over time. This is something I've been talking about with a client of mine who's doing, 7 figures. And the question is, do you scale up to 8 figures and take all the stress and the headaches that's going to take over the next, 6 years? Or, do you settle in on 2 million, 3 million a year? With a slower growth, with like 10% growth, without having to hire a bunch of people, but with being able to reduce your work hours and delegate what you hate. Okay. But that's a decision that you can make once you get there. So you actually can reduce the amount of pain per level, and you can reduce the work hours if you're willing to sacrifice revenue growth, which I am. At one point, I guess when I was younger, and maybe, over the years, I've considered it like 100-person office. But I don't want that. Okay. I don't want to manage people. I don't want that headache. I don't need that. I've already got the taxes in a really good situation. I'm an expat entrepreneur. I like to be able to live in different places, and we've got a tight team. And instead of expanding that way, I'm scaling into a course and growth where my time is not going to be purely tied to that. Okay, in addition to the coaching, but the price for coaching is going to go up in the future. So still selling time for money, but the price goes up, and being able to reduce the work hours and maximize, health and happiness, so that all those sacrifices have paid off, and drawing the boundary there. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to set, the income goal to where I'm good. I've got a pretty good idea, but we'll see if I get there. Maybe I'll want to raise the bar a little bit. But the big thing is you have to sacrifice until that point. Okay, I think I probably have another 6 months of a burn year left.